The aircraft carrier does not hide, it does not move in silence, it does not try to disappear. It is one of the largest war machines ever built, over 100,000 tons of steel. A floating city built for war. And yet, that is what makes it terrifying, because this is not a weapon you miss. It is a weapon you see and still cannot stop. Near Iran's coastline, where waters grow narrow and tense, this massive ship does not need to enter battle to change it. It just needs to be there. On paper, it should be vulnerable. Surrounded by threats. Missiles, drones, fast attack boats waiting for an opening, everything is in range, everything is ready, and still it holds its position, not running, not hiding. Because this is not just a ship. It is a moving airbase, a launch platform, a constant threat that never leaves. This is not the story of a single strike. This is the story of pressure that never stops, a war that floats just off the coast. And once it arrives, everything begins to change. On the deck, there is no silence. Engines roar. Jets line up one after another. Crew members move fast, every step calculated. This is not chaos, it only looks like it, because every movement here follows a system. Thousands of people live on this ship. Pilots, engineers, technicians, all working around the clock. Day and night, it does not stop. A pilot sits inside the cockpit waiting, helmet on, hands steady. In front of him, a short runway. Behind him, the open sea. There is no long takeoff, just a signal, and then launch. In seconds, the aircraft is thrown forward, from 0 to full speed, gone. And within minutes, another jet takes its place. This is how it works, not one strike, not one mission, but waves, continuous, relentless, because the carrier is not here for a single moment of war. It is here to stay ready at all times. Every person on board knows that. At any second, the order can come, not tomorrow, not later, now, and when it does, everything moves at once. No hesitation. No delay, because this ship does not prepare for war, it lives inside it. The waters near Iran are not open and empty. They are narrow, crowded, and heavily watched. This is the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most sensitive choke points in the world. Every movement here is tracked, every ship observed. And this is exactly where the threat begins. Iran does not rely on one type of weapon. It uses layers, anti-ship missiles positioned along the coast, fast attack boats that move in groups, naval mines hidden beneath the surface, drones watching from above. Individually, each threat is manageable, but together they create pressure, because the goal is not always to destroy. Sometimes it is to overwhelm, to force mistakes, to limit movement, to make a large target feel exposed. And an aircraft carrier is the largest target in the water. It cannot hide, it cannot disappear. On paper, this environment should be dangerous for it. Too many angles, too many threats, too little space. Everything suggests vulnerability. And yet it still operates here, not avoiding the danger but moving directly inside it. Because this battlefield is not just about attack, it is about control. And control begins with presence. The aircraft carrier is not just a ship, it is a system. A system designed to project power without needing land. And it has 3 key advantages that change everything. First, air power. An aircraft carrier carries its own air force. Dozens of fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, electronic warfare systems, all on one moving platform. This means it does not need nearby bases. It can launch strikes from the sea and reach deep inland. Targets hundreds of kilometers away are still within range, and the strikes do not stop after one wave. They keep coming, again and again. Second, mobility. Unlike a fixed base, the carrier is always moving. Its exact position is never constant. It can shift direction, change distance, approach from unexpected angles. That makes planning against it difficult, because you are not targeting a location. You are trying to track a moving target in open water, and that movement creates uncertainty. Third, layered defense. The carrier is never alone, it operates as part of a strike group. Destroyers, cruisers, submarines, each adding another layer of protection. Missile defense systems. Radar coverage, air patrols overhead, all working together, so even though the carrier is visible, reaching it is another challenge entirely. This is what makes it different. It is not just powerful. It is protected, mobile, and constantly active, all at the same time. To understand why it is so difficult to stop, you have to compare it to something else. A fixed military base. Air bases on land are powerful, but they have one weakness. They do not move, their location is known. Their runways are mapped, their defenses are studied. And once that information is known, they can be targeted. Missiles can be planned, strikes can be timed, everything becomes predictable. But the aircraft carrier changes that. It does not stay in one place. It moves across open water, changes direction, adjusts distance from the coast. One day it is far, the next it is closer. That movement breaks planning. Because Iran is not aiming at a fixed point anymore. It is trying to track something that never stays still, and tracking is not enough. You need a precise location at the right moment. Because if that moment is missed, the opportunity is gone. And while that tracking is happening, the carrier is still operating, launching aircraft, maintaining pressure. So this is not just a strong target. It is a moving one, and a moving target is always harder to stop. And then the order comes. On the flight deck, everything accelerates. Crew members signal with sharp, precise movements. Jets are guided into position. Engines begin to roar louder than anything around them. Heat fills the air. The aircraft locks into the catapult. For a brief second, everything is still, then launch. The jet is thrown forward with force, from 0 to full speed in seconds. Gone, it climbs into the sky and disappears into the distance. And it does not stop there. Another jet moves into place. Then another. This is not a single strike, this is a sequence. Wave after wave, aircraft launching one after another. Each carrying its own target, each part of a larger plan. Miles away, over land, the impact begins. Precision strikes hit selected locations. Fast, coordinated, no long warning. Just sudden force delivered from far beyond the horizon. And while all of this is happening, the carrier keeps moving. No pause, no exposure. Because the launch is only one moment. The operation continues. Relentless, controlled. A system that does not stop even after the strike begins. This is where the real effect begins, not just damage but pressure. Because the aircraft carrier does not need to strike to create fear. It only needs to stay, visible on the horizon, always present, always ready. That changes everything. Because now the threat is constant, every movement is watched, every decision carries risk. You know it is there, you know what it can do, but you do not know when it will act. That uncertainty builds tension, day after day, night after night, no clear moment of safety, because the strike does not come with warning, it comes when the decision is made. And by then, it is already too late. This is not sudden fear. This is sustained pressure, a presence that never leaves and never lets you relax. Because as long as it stays offshore, the possibility of attack never disappears. There is a common belief that an aircraft carrier is impossible to destroy. That once it arrives, nothing can touch it. But that is not completely true. An aircraft carrier is powerful, but it is not invincible. It can be targeted, it can be tracked. And in the right conditions, it can be hit. That is why it never operates alone, because its strength is not just size. It is protection, layers of defense, escort ships, air patrols above. All designed to reduce risk. So yes, it can be attacked, but attacking it is not simple. It requires timing, coordination, and precision, and even then success is not guaranteed. So the carrier is not untouchable, but reaching it is a challenge most systems are not ready for. But even this level of power has limits. The aircraft carrier is massive, and that makes it visible from far away. It cannot hide. It also depends on a full system around it. Escort ships, air cover, logistics support. Without that, its strength is reduced. And in narrow waters, the risk increases. Less space to move, more angles of attack, more pressure from multiple directions. It also takes time to operate. Aircraft must be prepared. Missions must be planned. Nothing happens instantly. So this is not a perfect weapon. It is powerful but complex, strong but dependent on coordination. And if that coordination fails, its advantage can begin to shrink. Because in modern warfare, even the largest platform must rely on precision, not just size. In the end, this was never just about a ship. It was about what that ship represents. Because an aircraft carrier does not need to fire to change the battlefield. Its presence alone is enough. It brings air power closer. It shortens response time. It creates pressure without warning, and that pressure forces decisions. Faster, more cautious, more uncertain. This is how modern warfare works. Not just through destruction, but through control. The aircraft carrier does not win by hiding. It does not win by surprise, it wins by staying. By remaining just close enough to remind you what it can do. And once it is there, the war does not need to begin, because its presence already changes everything.